biceps are bulging through my shirt.
That's good. Hey, I got the smallest shirt as I could too, so that works. So, all right, so guys, we're live here, and this is one of our episode of the Dreamers of the Day, and just a little bit about that episode. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've always been fascinated with entrepreneurs, business owners. It doesn't even have to be the bigwigs. I mean, just like like a dreamer is exactly what we call the people who are like, man, I can't work for the man anymore, or they realized what it's like to I just can't work for people who mistreat me no less than me, don't take, so they were just sick of it, and or they just had a dream that maybe their boss was cool, but it just wasn't what they wanted to do. So one of those today. I'm excited to introduce you guys to Marcus. Is it Marcus Zeno or Marcus Zeno?
It's Zeno, man. It's actually my middle name. So
okay.
People always mix it up. Yeah, it's just Zeno. So
Marcus Zeno. So Marcus, I actually met Marcus through. Obviously, we're both repping our schools right here. He's got through Jiu-Jitsu. That's right. So I train at Metro, and Marcus is trains out of Dion Thompson's, but it is a branch of Brasa. Marcus, tell me a little bit. How long have you been training? How long have you been training Jiu-Jitsu?
It'll be 6 years this year. Started off, white belt. I had done MMA for 4 years before that. So I thought I knew Jiu-Jitsu, right? Until somebody choked me with my own clothes, and then I said I need to learn this stuff. So about 6 years, man. My first year was pretty tough, as every white belt year is. But man, once I started doing it, man, I just fell in love with it. And so 6 years.
6 years, and so now you're obviously your Brasa purple belt. How long have you had your purple belt?
July of last year, so I guess a year and a half. Yeah, if we're counting the time skip of everything, so yeah.
Right on. Okay, so we're gonna get. I am gonna come back more to the jiu-jitsu training a little bit, but so tell me what you currently do now, what type of business you're in, how you got into it, and what you kind of did leading up to that.
Well, I'll just start at the beginning. I actually worked at Best Buy. That was my first my first real job. Of course, before that, I worked at McDonald's and little pizza places around here and there. But I worked at Best Buy, right? And through Best Buy, I worked as retail, so I learned business. And a lot of time, I think what Best Buy taught me is that no job is small, and that everything that someone does correlates to the business, right? So I just ran the video game department, but I took pride in having the best looking video game department in the district, and I wanted our numbers to be good and stuff like that. And from there, man, I worked my way up to manager. Left there when I was about 21. Best Buy was kind of, as you know, Amazon, eBay, things like, well, not Amazon, but eBay at the time was coming in, and everything was shifting to online. So a lot of big stores took a hit. After that, I got into the wireless side of things. And wireless was still a great business. A lot of money to be made there, but I think the biggest thing is inconsistency, unethical behavior on a part of management, employees, things like that. So I did that for a long time. I worked for a lot of the major carriers. The biggest thing that I learned from wireless, though, was relationship building, and the fact that if you and I have a good interaction, and you don't even have to buy anything from me that day, right? And I was lucky enough, I worked inside of a Costco. The deal I was inside of a Costco.
Okay.
And so the thing is, even if you don't buy anything from me that day, right? You got to buy milk, you got to buy toilet paper, you got to buy all this stuff, right? So you got to see me every day standing outside, my little area. So we're just gonna talk, and I just learned to build relationships with people and just kind of talk to people. And a lot of time, man, I had people when I left Costco come follow me to any store I was at just to buy phones, man. So from there, wireless, I did wireless. I was in the wireless industry for about 10 years. And then since then, man, I just started my signing company, actually a mobile notary. My official title is a loan signing agent. That is my business. My signing agency stretches from here to Michigan. I'm able to notarize anything inside the state of Ohio. What I mostly handle are real estate transaction, legal documents, I-9 verification, anything that requires serving someone, papers or anything like that. If somebody's suing you, I'm the guy you're going to see. I'm not doing it. Don't hate me. If you do, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it anyway. So, so I did that.
Real quick, has that turned into anything? Any physical altercations? Still,
No, man, but no, but you know what? It's funny because I've never had an altercation with someone during my loan signing, doing any type of notary work. But when I worked in retail, man, it seemed like every other like week it was some like old guy, just that couldn't figure out how his voicemail password that wanted to fight me, man. And and I'm a de-escalator. Like I can't be a de-escalator. It depends on if I've had a little bit of that Henny in me, but most of the time I'm pretty cool, and especially at work, man. I understand it's a business, so I would always get some old guy, man, just come in with his phone and just like just want to fight me or something. But usually they left on good terms, and most of the time they came back and bought stuff from me. But no, I haven't had to fight anybody yet for serving them papers, but maybe on the next episode I'll tell you a story about it. But with that though, like I said, a loan signing agent, we do a lot of real estate transactions, and in the current climate, with the market going down, and banks just basically want to get anything they can out of people. I've seen a lot of refinancing, so people are trying to get their mortgage payments lowered or debt consolidation, things like that. So when those papers are sent, they need to be notarized and sent back to the escrow company or the lender. So that's where I come into play. I'm the middleman of that. So right now I'm trying to grow to actually, I'm self-employed right now. So meaning that I work for myself. The boss is a jerk, but my employees can be lazy sometimes. So that being said, my next goal is to hopefully get to where I can generate enough business I can actually hire, outsource the work out. So, if I got something going on here and I got something another place, I can send someone there and get it done for me. So that's the long-term goal. But right now I like it, man. It keeps me busy and it buys me time. So I like it.
Right on. So how did you, how do you market that? Like, or how do you market? You and I were talking. I thought like it was like just everyone's got someone in the office with a stamp.
Yeah, they do though. They do, and that's the thing, man. So like I get calls, like people call me and they say, hey, I need something notarized, and I'll tell them like, okay, well this is my fee or whatever, and they're like, just to stamp something, and I'm like, yeah, oh I could have went here. Well, why didn't you go? Because that place is closed, or you need that person to come to you. Or there's extenuating circumstances usually that correlate. And a lot of time, I handle like real estate transactions or something that takes more than just one page, right? It's usually 40, 80 page documents, whatever. But how I got into it though, to your question. So we all have those weird YouTube nights where we're just watching random stuff. And I was having one of those nights, and I got on Boyce Watkins. And he's a financial advisor, former professor of finance at Ohio State, actually. And he had a guy. He said low cost businesses you can start for under $500. And I've always, and kind of like you, man, I love business, right? I love the how people's mind worked. Somebody looked at something and said, I can make money out of that. You know what I mean? So that drew me to this guy. And when this the particular guest I had on this show was his name was Andre Hatchett. Did some research on this guy, and he's mobile notary, nationwide, has a lot of different agents in different areas, stuff like that. And I reached out to him, and the guy told me, hey, you know what, check out my course, and I'll kind of show you how the business works. I went through it, saw how the business worked. I loved the flexibility, how I was able to just kind of not only come and go as I please, but also to set my own schedule, and that's so important with what we do, man. Like with jiu-jitsu, it's a selfish thing, man. So if I have to be there at when it's time to train, I can't say, I gotta work or something like that. I didn't like that. So this is a very flexible business. It's mobile, so it is a very it can be taxing on like the car and stuff like that. But that's something that you have to be wary of, getting your oil changed, and make sure you got good tires and things like that. But it's a very flexible business. Also, it's not very time consuming. One signing may take me half an hour, but in half an hour I've made $125. Right. And it may be I mean, that's not a lot of money, but when I correlate $125 to half an hour, man, short anything short of taking my clothes off, I ain't making that kind of money in short time. Well, and them days are behind me, Dave. I'm done with that.
and that's it's important to make the distinction though. That's $125
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, in your pocket. Like that's a service. There's no material, there's no, so like that's $125. I'm sure you have whatever overhead you've got, but it's not like you're selling, we were talking about, it's not like you're selling a phone and you're making 40% on that, so.
No, you're getting it all, man. And then, like I was saying, the next step of it is actually the title and escrow companies coming directly to you. You kind of cut them out, because right now I'm getting my assignments from the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, once you cut the title companies and you cut them out, and they're coming directly to you, man. That's even more. You're still making a piece of the percentage on that. So, and once again, that moves into buying yourself more time, because then I have more people underneath me that are taking care of that while I'm doing this. So it's always about time, man. That's why you get paid hourly. It's all about your time.
Which, and that's, you mentioned hourly, we talked about salary service. I want to go right into, one question I ask every business owner, everyone that, is quote unquote successful. Do you have any type of formal education? Formal education meaning college, college or higher than diploma?
First and foremost, I have a GED. Okay. And I say that with pride. You know why? Because when I was 17 years old, I got kicked out of my house. I was, I'm saying smart ass I was then, I am now. So I was out on my own and I had to work. I had to make money, right? So I was working at Best Buy, just working as many hours as I could. I did eventually go to college, just because I felt that there were things that I couldn't teach myself, and I needed to be kind of pointed in that right direction. But I feel like if you're passionate about something and you know what you want to do, if you want to be an electrician, man, or that the fields that you want to work in specifically doesn't require college, I don't think you have to go to college, man. Especially the way it's set up now, man. Student loans and all that stuff. I don't believe in that, man. Yeah.
So, that was kind of my next question. Do you? And I tend to agree with. Obviously, you tend to talk to the majority of. I call them like bootstrappers or grassroots business owners, those who weren't handed a business.
Right.
A lot of times, like even if you do go to college, what you learn in the college isn't what you're doing in your field. You might learn some discipline. You might learn some, how to talk right to the right people. Like business, to get a business degree. It's my opinion, it's probably the most worthless degree you can get. Because they know so little about business.
You know what, man? That was going back to my wireless days. That was one thing that always bothered me, man. Because I was in the store every day. When I got promoted, eventually I would be, I had a couple stores underneath me, but I was in the store every day. And then I'm taking orders from some guy who's telling me what's going on in my stores that he's never seen before, but he has a business degree, right? So he's went to school, and he should be able, from his schooling, he should be able to tell me how to run the business that he's never even set foot in. Can we
go into that a little bit, because I if that's the same story you were telling me, was this a conference call when when they were telling you how you should have been, to go into that story a little bit?
David, listen, if I had recordings of my conference calls, I'd probably, one, be in jail. Two, I could probably never even get a job anyway, so I have to be an entrepreneur. But yeah, man, so listen, we're on a call, right? And this I don't know what it is, man, but Miyamoto Musashi's 5 Rings, right? I'm sure you're familiar with, you've heard of it. If you haven't read it, I've probably read it. But it's one of those things, and Sun Tzu's Art of War, the business world has taken these things and used them to the business side, right? Mm-hmm. So they've used that to kind of say, these employees are warriors, right? And this is a word that is thrown around so loosely. I think if you're not serving your country or doing something like that, warrior is kind of a term, man. I don't know about that, but anyway. But
to clarify, the corporations are calling their sales floor, their everyone who works on their team.
Yeah,
they're calling them warriors to get in like that Spartan.
Yeah, that rah, that pep, that kind of thing going, and that's something I'm familiar with. I'm cool with. I get it. People have to have their peps, but at the same time, it ain't the same. And let's not make it like it is the same. This isn't a life or death situation. And a lot of time, so back to this conference call, right? So we're on a call, And this dude's like, I just got to see some passion out of you guys. You guys aren't fighting like you're dying out there. And, you're just not fighting. I'm not seeing any fighting, you guys. He's like, I just need some dogs in a fight. And I've met this guy before, right? This is probably the most pencil neck, weak dude I've ever seen in my life, right? I could probably slap him and turn his head backwards, right? So this dude is like talking about we need to fight for our life. I said, can I ask you a question, man? I said, have you ever actually been in a fight? And I said, and if you have, did you win it? And everybody just got quiet. This is a call with, we're talking district, regional managers, all type of people. I said, did you win it? And he's like, I don't see how it correlates to the what we're talking about, Marcus. I said, well, it's funny you say that because I don't see how a fight correlates to this. I said, listen, this is a job. I said, in the job, you're given tools, you're given certain things, and I use that to kind of segue into what we weren't being given to be successful, from a job format. So this is not a battle, okay? This is not life or death. Yes, we all have families. Yes, we all have bills, financial goals we're trying to make. I get that, but we're not going to sit here and act like we're fighting because you've never been in a fight, and God help you if you ever get in one. So from that, he didn't call. So after the conference call was over, he didn't call me. My direct supervisor called me, and he was a coward too. I wanted to slap him plenty of times, but that's neither. That's a whole nother episode. But yeah, man, I have if you can't tell, I have authority issues. But not only that, you have to earn my respect. You have to earn my authority. Like you say, man, you've been to school. I'm sure you got some impressive essays, but you wouldn't survive a day in my world, on that sales floor, dealing with these people when they're pissed about your bill that you have no control over, these things that you've never even handled for them, but you're trying to, satisfy this person. And then at the same time, you want me to upsell them, So that was my thing about that, man. But yeah, that particular conference call, I probably worked at that company another month or so, and then that was it.
Right. Well, you kind of I know we were talking earlier, and you mentioned like a huge. It sounds strange to me that they're taking like one aspect is good,
Mm-hmm.
because you need the team, right? You need a strong team who works together.
You do,
but you also need like one of my favorite business books. I'm going through it right now. Is kind of similar to your shirt. Why not you? It's start with why.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have good, like, if your team doesn't believe in what you're doing, like upselling people who don't need what you're selling. Now, there's a difference, because look, sales pay the bills. So, but there's a difference in upselling someone that they could use, like someone who's like super techie and like they're the client for, like you mentioned earlier, the Apple Watch, like they're decked out. Like that, yeah. $3,000 in personal electronics. Someone might be that person, but grandma, who doesn't know how to check her voicemail, does she really need that Apple Watch? And for them, it wasn't going to that a little bit of that ethics that you were talking about.
The biggest thing I see in why retail is going to fail, and I think that all this stuff going on is actually expediting the ending of the brick and mortar store, is because they have people in there that are sharks that are preying on people that don't need these services or these products, but they have to press it down the customer's throat because their jobs are in jeopardy. They're being threatened, by those people that have never worked in the store. They just see that you had a customer and you didn't sell them something. They didn't know that this is grandma that's telling you she's on a fixed income and she's trying to survive. Why didn't you sell her an iPad? And,
well, the choice was food that week or an iPad, sirs.
Yeah, and that's it. And see, I made those comments. See, you wouldn't make it either. I made those comments, and the thing about it is, retail has forgotten that people get their numbers, right, on the customer side and the service side. So the employees, man, look, I was reading about some companies like Hobby Lobby. A GameStop, man. GameStop is trying to call themselves essential. I play video games just like anybody else, man, but they're not essential. Hobby Lobby was having people, come in and they shouldn't have. It's a hobby, and I just feel like retail has forgotten so many of the people that are on the front line that it's turned people off from it. Their turnover is sky high. They're spending I don't know how many dollars just trying to train people. because a new guy quits every 3 months or so. I think when I was at my last wireless deal I worked at, they said our longest term employee had been working there for 4 months.
Where
4 months. This was actually, I'm going to call them out. This is OSL Retail Services in Walmart, okay? This is the worst. Can I use my one cuss word?
Yeah, you got one.
This is the worst company ever, okay? Never worked there, never shopped there, okay? First off, it's inside of Walmart, so. Second, the company does not know its employees, and they don't try to understand the business. Literally, Dave, let me tell you a quick story, right? So I had a guy in there, right? He's in there. He's looking by a phone, and I'm managing at the time. My district manager is there, and my employee is I know my employees. He's perceptive. I'm pretty perceptive. So he's talking to this guy, my district manager, who's 5 foot, 500 pounds, and stupid. So he's standing there, and we're both kind of peeping the same situation, but we're talking, right? So the guy, I pulled my phone out. I pulled my phone out really quick, and boom, I'm done. And my employee talked to the guy for like 15 minutes, right? And then the guy walked away. So he couldn't wait. As soon as he walked away, goes to my employee like, "Hey, I couldn't help but notice you didn't, do any upselling with that guy. Like, you didn't even bring it up to him." Now, I work with this guy every day. This guy actually had been working with the company longer than me. So I know he knows his business. I'm not going to breathe down his neck. And he said, I don't think, he said, yeah, I could talk to the guy, man. And he just wasn't, I didn't get the vibe from him that, we're going to get anywhere with him. Oh, man, you see, you're not hungry, man. You're not fighting to die out there. You're not trying to, you're not really out there mixing it up, man. You got to get in there and dig. So I'm listening to him. I let him go through his little wax spiel and all that. So I said, "Come here." I said, let me show you something. So I pull out my phone. I said, "Check this out." And the guy had a spoon burnt in his back pocket, right? Like, spoon. You get that whole thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He had that in his back pocket, right? I said, that's what this guy. I said that's our customer base. I said, and this is why he didn't sell him anything. I said, how far are you gonna get with that? I said, he said. First off, he asked me what the spoon was. He didn't know what it was. He's like, "Huh? What? Spoon? Maybe the guy just came from lunch." His fat probably wanted him to share something with him.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. That's 2 cuss words, Dave. I'm sorry, but so he didn't even know. So what I'm saying, I say that to say this: we're dealing with people are in positions that don't even know what the front line is dealing with. So how can you give proper instruction when you don't even know what I'm seeing out there, man? You're a black belt, man. Can you tell a white belt what to do if you've never been on the mat? Do you let white belts coach you?
That is that's something I believe in firmly. Like, and I've always believed in that. I got a broad trade experience. Mm-hmm. I won't ask you to do something that either I wouldn't do or I haven't done.
Never done.
Yeah, I wouldn't, because for several reasons, especially as a business owner, like, I need to be able to know, like, that's what makes those systems work so well. Like, I know, like, I'll be able to tell you, like, hey, so Marcus, all right, you're gonna get some people. It's real intimidating when they come in here and they step on this mat, bro. It's going to be the scariest thing they do all day. It's your job. You got to make them feel welcome. All right. They're going to, like, I know that because I've had people, like, practically run out of the building, so, like, as opposed to, like, well, Marcus, I don't get it. Why'd the guy run out of the building? I don't, so because
exactly.
You're taking something in theory, they have it. If next time, well, you're not retail anymore. So next time they would say that, is I would have said, like, sir, do you know what they call a plan that goes according to tack and to an attack that goes according to plan in the military? And he's gonna be like, no, no idea. They call that an ambush when an attack goes according to plan. So in theory, sure, but, like, the conditions on the ground dictate that. I didn't. My father was a Marine, so I'm regurgitating these. But, like, and that's the real problem is with college. That's what it's going back for is they teach you a lot of theory, but ultimately where you get your your resume might look good. You might get the job, but day one, they're going to be like, okay, all right, that's what you learned. Here's how it actually works. At the job. So, but yeah,
I want to throw this in there, man, because it perfectly correlates. We were talking about business and jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, and one thing I always see on Facebook when people post like, oh, I got my black belt, or they get a promotion or something like that. And you know what? When you got your black belt, I said, man, well earned, man. You know why? Because I saw you compete at every belt. You know, every belt that I actually saw you compete at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that respect had been built because it's like, oh yeah, you know. So it's the same with a company, man. If I see this guy, oh man, hey man, I know that guy can sell. I don't have any problem with you telling me how to sell, you know.
Right.
And it all correlates, man. All correlates.
And that's you know, you played right into the next question is how's jiu-jitsu, how's your training, you know, affected, improved, helped really your could be work career, could be obviously your business, but also, you know, even your career. How's that helped?
Jiu-jitsu has taught me discipline. Jiu-jitsu has taught me patience. Jiu-jitsu has taught me how to take a negative in a situation and turn it into a positive, and how you're never out of a fight, especially in sales, you know, and kind of in business period. I don't want to say just sales, because any business, and you kind of look at a challenge, it's just like, all right, this is what I got to do. You know, it's kind of like when you go from, you know, when people start wrist locking, you know, it's just more stuff to look out for. You know, it's just more stuff, you know, just more stuff in your leg locks. All right.
You get bumped up 2 weight brackets. Who are you going to complain to? That's just, it is what it is.
Do, man. Listen, my first 2 tournaments at Purple Belt, I can listen. And David, I want you to I want to promote this. I have competed against more brown belts in tournaments than some black belts. All right, because that's just how it goes. And I've never complained. I never went to the, you know, the tournament organizer. Oh, you can't do it, because it just happens. Like I say, it never goes according to plan. But you know what? I'm gonna learn from this experience. Win, lose, fail, try. I'm going to learn from this experience. I'm gonna come out of this better. And you know what? If he wrist locks me, I ain't gonna get wrist locked again. You know what I mean? If I get and it's the same with business, man. There's been mistakes I've made that I've just frustrated myself so much. I've said, I'm never going to do this again. Not to myself.
Yeah.
You know, and with jiu-jitsu and business, it's a team. Well, jiu-jitsu, you know, you train with your team, but when you're on the mat, it's you. But and same with business. When you get out there, man, you have to make sure that whatever mistakes you may have made, you have to shore that up. You know, you got to plug the holes, the holes in your game, man. And that's I like it, man. I think the business and jiu-jitsu correlate so much because you're always trying to get better, right? And in jiu-jitsu, you can't quantify by numbers, but in business, it's numbers. You know, you can take this month over last month and do that. And I feel like jiu-jitsu does that. But I will, you know, I'll always say, man, if I didn't do jiu-jitsu, I wouldn't be an entrepreneur. And I love seeing jiu-jitsu entrepreneurs. I love seeing guys that, I think because our minds are so creative and our minds can never stop. There's no way we can sit there and take instruction from some guy we can beat up. You know, you're not going to tell me something and you can't do it. You know, so that's why I think that jiu-jitsu is perfect for entrepreneurs. I think it's perfect for everybody. But I think when you have that entrepreneur mind, it's even better.
Yeah, you know, you made an interesting point there, and I just kind of want to touch on. I was talking with an old teammate Dozer, and he was saying, I think I was a blue belt at the time, and he was either brown or black, and he was like, bro, enjoy it. You know, talking about the circumstance you can't. He's like, enjoy it. I was like, enjoy what? He's like, don't be in a rush. Don't be in a rush. Man. He's like, you don't have to worry. Every tournament you go to, you're gonna have someone in your class and someone in your weight. Like that's gonna be a thing. Like you know, like I look for it, like brown, like and it does. Like you know how it is. Like the steeper the skill gets, the higher rank. How much harder is it to find a purple belt match than your blue belt match?
Yes,
harder, right? Same with brown. It gets harder and harder at brown and black. And I like that you mentioned how like it doesn't the conditions don't matter. Like we're not taught, especially your team, my team, we're not conditioned to complain about those. Like wait, coach, no, like bro, that's the fight you got, and that's realistic too. You know, it's realistic of that's what you're dealing with. You know,
David, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Deion Thompson has taught me so much about business and jiu-jitsu, man. I mean, as you know, most black belts, they, you know, they're running. Most black belts have a job, you know, a normal 9 to 5 they go to, as well as a business. And you know that's something that I look at that as a shining example of I can do it too. But he's taught me so much about business and, not complain about situations, not complain about, turning a negative into a positive. We at Braza, man, we have a saying, no bitch assness. And it's just like, you cannot complain, man. If you lose, you win. If you win, you won. But if you win with grace, you don't call the guy out or anything like that. But you lose with grace as well, man. You don't put it on, yeah, he was bigger than me. Dude had 2 stripes, man. You see that? He's a brown belt. No, man, we both on these mats. And any given day, man, you're supposed to have that mindset, man. Hey, why not you? That's what the shirt's saying. That's our philosophy. And that goes to everything, man. What, fight for it. Why not? You can win it. Upsets happen all the time, man.
You're playing, dude, you're playing really well into these questions. Tell me about who are some of your mentors or coaches, could be business coaches. You mentioned Dion, who I have huge respect. I mean, he's probably one of the pioneers, that he was always around when I was coming up, as white belt. And, I saw him, I knew him. Do you have any other business coaches or mentors that, that have helped you out?
As far as the business side, I would say that I've seen a lot, I've kind of worked for managers, good and bad. I know I've shared earlier, I kind of shared some of my crazy stories. I got more, but I've worked for some good guys too that have taught me a lot. And one guy his name was Derek Davis. I believe he actually owns a couple Steak and Shakes around East Cleveland. Yeah, so he taught me a lot, man. And I mean, he's a franchiser, and he was an older guy, so he was teaching me about a residual income and making money when you're asleep. He's like, hey, I don't always want to be here, man. some days I'm old, man. So he taught me a lot about that and set planning for the future. Besides that, though, man, honestly, it's just it's being. I'm literally like, Dion is literally like makes us like learn the business. By the time you get to your purple belt, when we get a new guy in, some guy comes off the street, we do the waivers, we do the contracts. We can, each one of our guys from, if you got a blue belt and up, can explain to you how our contract works, how our waiver works, because it's taking ownership, because he preaches taking ownership in your school, ownership, and this is ours. If this guy signs up, if he doesn't like it, if he doesn't like it, maybe it's something we did, maybe something we changed. And that taught me a lot on taking onus on my business. It's very easy to get offended if someone says, you kind of did a crappy job. Oh, maybe I did. Maybe I need to learn something, do something better. So he's very big on that, man, and improving. There's never perfect. One of the main things he says, I know you always see Dion smiling, but he tortures us in training. And he'll make you do things 1,000 times, right? And then he'll say, good, you got it right. Now do it again, right? So it's just that repetition of believing that you can always get better and improve, man. And that's the biggest thing he's taught me in jiu-jitsu and business. Like, it's always room for growth, man. The bank account has no limit on it, just like your jiu-jitsu knowledge. So always make deposits, man.
That's a really good. I like that. If somebody didn't like it, that's on you. You guys take on, and we do the same. And I think jiu-jitsu, like I spend a lot of time in my day now. I pretty much talk exclusively to black belts and school owners and things and like there was a culture growing, like at least coming up. If they, that's jiu-jitsu. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And then, well, hang on a second. Wait a second. Everybody, it's not rational to think everyone's going to get a black belt. But if they don't want to try it out, like a lot of jiu-jitsu schools are run like a fight club. They're just run like they've got their core of fighters, contenders, whatever, and that's who they're catering to. Yes. And like I'm a competitor, like, so it's not like
you're not speaking from outside.
That's who they're catering to. And then like someone else comes in and it's literally like throwing that bait into the Shark Tank with no concern for their health. Like, bro, how do you expect somebody to respond to that?
Right.
You can, and I gotten into this argument with like another black belt, like saying, I was like, bro, jiu-jitsu will make you tough, not your first day. I was not, you should have seen me my first day. Like there could not be a starker difference. So,
right.
So, but Well, and so like I like that he kind of indoctrinates to take ownership because it's so easy to cop out, you know, and when you own the business, when you're the business owner, when you're the boss, you know, the buck stops here then. You know, I'm not passing anymore. Look, we messed up. I'll do it here, you know, I'll make it right. Here's how I'm gonna make it right. And you know, and so on and so forth. So do you think on that same note, do you think anyone can be an entrepreneur? Why or why not?
Yes, I do. And that when I first saw that question, I said, that's probably the hardest question you asked me. Because I want to say no, because it does take some discipline. It's kind of like what we talk about jiu-jitsu, right? Not everybody can do jiu-jitsu. But I feel like the yes and everyone can be an entrepreneur comes from the fact that there's something someone is interested in or something that you see, okay? That every day that you make a choice, you know what? I'm going to play video games every day. I'm going to read comic books every day. I'm going to do this every day. And I believe if you can find the money line in that, then you can make it a business because that's your interest, right? Some people like to, they tinker with stuff. They turn that into, they work on cars. I think being an entrepreneur has to be, I think the definition that we get in our head is this, like you said earlier, I like you use the term grassroots and bootstrapping. But I think like we have to get this out of our head that everybody's going to be Bill Gates or, Jeff Bezos. Like we're not always going to have that Amazon. You know what I mean? Just the fact that, we were talking earlier about time, the fact that you can work your Monday through Friday and take your little girl to the park on Saturday, that's success. So I think anyone can be an entrepreneur if you find that right vein to tap into. Yeah, I think so. You maybe changed my answer. That was a good one.
That's I'm still undecided on it. I think my answer is I think I see what you're saying of in their niche, find their niche. Like not for sure not everyone can be a school owner or a mobile notary or because they need to for the hours that it's going to take and the effort that it's going to take to run that business, to be successful at it, you better love it. You better be doing it for free because you enjoy it right now. If you're not doing it for free, or in jiu-jitsu case, like I tell people, I paid well over 10 grand to train jiu-jitsu. Like I paid.
Of course, the cost to be the boss. That's what that's called.
So like if you're not doing it for free right now or paying someone to do it, I'm not gonna like that. That to me, that's the litmus test of like, is there even a shot at you being willing to put in those hours? And so, and then like you said, find a way to monetize it. Which now, like I think you're talking. You have to follow Gary Vee a lot, right? Gary.
Oh, that's my guy.
Yeah. So Gary Vee, then you can monetize it with the internet. Like it's a matter of, it may not happen overnight, but it's something you enjoy doing anyway. So that's.
Vanderchuck is awesome, man. And also Eric Thomas is another guy.
I follow them both. Yep.
Yeah, man, them dudes, man. I think just their passion for business is just so inspiring, man. You look at that stuff, you're like, dang, man. Gary Vee actually said, go to the dollar store and buy a bunch of stuff and sell it on Amazon.
I did that for a while. I did that. I did retail arbitrage. I flipped for. I was making like, it's funny. Like I followed it, bro, because it was like I like that. So like. To me, that was sweet. Like I grew up on thrift stores, bro. Like I didn't know new clothes till I was 17 years old. You know what I mean? Like
well, see, I was always fly. So, see, I was always fly.
Yeah.
But you know what though? Honestly, I always worked though, man. Like I always had a hustle. Mm-hmm. Like you know what I mean? I cut grass. I shovel snow. I was of that vein, man. I rake leaves. My granddad, Zeno White, man, he was a hustler, man. He was just one of those guys that he believed everything. Everybody loved him because he could make you money, and he was very free with money. And he always told me that if you have an abundance mindset, it will always come back to you. He said, never worry about money, man. He said, it'll always come back. And he was always just like, if someone needed money, he said, if I loan this person $20 and they don't pay me back, I guarantee I'm gonna make $100 somewhere else. And he always did, man. He would, loan somebody some money and hit the number the next day, and I always followed that vein, man. So I think that, I never had a problem. Now, mind you, I'm not saying be a frivolous spender or be stupid with your money because I'm thrifty. Don't get me wrong. Like right now, I can't tell you the last time I bought a pair of Jordans, but I keep my van game fly. But other than that, man, I think I think that's the thing, man. You have to be smart and use money. Money is a tool, man. Money is an illusion, and I don't mean like a magician illusion, but it's a tool to be used. You know, it's not something that we hoard or something that we use to hold over someone's head. It's an illusion. It's something that we put in our head. You know, because if you check your account right now and it says zero, does that mean you have nothing? Does that mean you're not a black belt? It doesn't. You know, it's just like it just says zero there. You know, so now I have to go out and do something to make it say not zero, and that's the whole thing, man. The whole thing.
And the last question, Marcus, you know, I respect your time, bro. What would you for last question, and then I do want to, you know, I want to get your info and see how people can connect with you. What would you say to someone who's interested in work? I think we just kind of answered this. Someone who's maybe interested in working for themselves, and they don't know if they should take the plunge or not, or they're like, well, I don't know exactly what to do. You know, like, what would you say? Like, if you were talking to them, like Dion talked to you.
First thing he asked me was, how bad do I want to do it? Right, is this something that you love to do? All right. And another thing that Dion always says is armed with this information, right? So using information as a weapon, right? So armed with this information, is this something that you can make money off of? You know, so basically do your research. You know, you know, like we said, it's good to have a passion, but honestly, man, if you like to build, you know, paper mache, I don't know of any market that people paying for paper mache, you know, so know your market. You know, if there's something you can find money in or something like that, go after it. Use that information to, you know, equip yourself. And I would say that if you don't have the patience and the discipline, going back to previously we talked about jiu-jitsu and business, the biggest thing is when I'm not motivated to train, my discipline makes me train because I know that you're training. I know that those guys over there are training. So it's the same with business. When I don't want to work on a title, or I don't want to do some paperwork, I have to, because that's my discipline. I'm not motivated, but it's my discipline. Because you know what? You know, like I said, I work for myself, man. And the boss is a jerk. The guy in HR is a jerk, and the employees are lazy. So I have to find a way to get all those people on the same page to make money for myself, you know, and that's it, man. That's the main thing. If you can't tell me that you love what you do enough to take time out of your day, if you tell me you'd rather go work 9 to 5 for somebody else, but you don't have 2 hours out your day for yourself, then now we don't have much conversation. The same with jiu-jitsu. When people say I don't have time, they got time to party and stuff like that, you're just not serious about it. That's all.
Yeah, they so tell us, I mean, what's your company name? You know, what's your info? How can we get in touch with you?
Zeno Signings and Notary. I'm on Google. I'm actually the #1 notary in Northwest Ohio.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, paid the cost to be the boss.
But what's the website?
Just Zeno Signings and Mobile Notary at gmail.com. That's my site. If you're in the Northwest Ohio area or even Michigan, if you put in notary near me in Google, I'll come up in at least your top 3. In Northwest, I'm #1. But yeah, that's where I do it. Also, call me. I have a Zeno Signings is also on Facebook. I'm working on an Instagram page. I don't take a lot of pictures because I'm always busy, but I am working on the Instagram page. But Zeno Signings on Facebook, and also Zeno Signings and Notary at gmail.com is how you can get in touch with me.
Did I get that right there? Zeno Signings and Mobile Notary at Gmail.
Yeah, you gotta get your Gmail.
Yeah, I gotta fix the Gmail. That's right. Okay.
Take the "and" out of there. Just notary. Just notary. That's fine. I said notary but it's just notary.
Oh, okay. Zeno Signings, Mobile Notary. Okay. And all right, brother. And what's the best? Some people like phone. What's the best phone number for you?
419-322-2128. That's my business line. If I don't get in touch with you, please leave a message. I know people don't like leaving voicemails, or at least text me so I know what it is. I get a lot of calls, so if I don't know what it is and I miss it, I'm not going to call everyone back. But yeah, 419-322-2128. So yeah, get in touch with me. Let me know. Also, if you don't, if say I can't make it to you, we have a network that maybe I can at least get somebody close to you that can help you out. Because I know in these times it's kind of hard to find a notary with the banks and everything being closed. But there are some awesome notaries up in Michigan and stuff like that that can help you out if you're too far from me. But I will travel if the money's right.
Okay, right on. That's right. Supply and demand, right? So, Marcus, I do appreciate your time, brother. I will, I'll definitely, I'll put this out. Anyone who needs something done, we'll get that out to you. And I do hope to have you back on soon. It's always fun to talk to you, bro. You're just as fun to talk to virtually as you are in person, for sure. I told you before, you're one of my. So many people on my feed, bro, and you make me laugh. Your stuff makes me laugh every single time. Like I'm just like every. You know
what? And I want to dispel the notion that I'm like angrily typing at my computer when I'm making these posts. I'm normally watching anime in my underwear eating cereal.
Yeah. Right on. Well, cool, brother. All right. Well, you have a great weekend, brother. Let me know if you need anything, and hopefully we'll get some people your way, get you some more business.
You too, Dave. Take care, man. Peace.
Take care, bro.